now that we have finished modeling our valve, we're going to have to continue by placing the connectors so that then we will be able to use this whole valve in our project and connect pipes to it. So first I'm going to go over to the first tab and then go to the pipe connector command, then click on this outlet of the valve as well as on this inlet in order to place connectors on these ends. Now I'm going to select the outlet connector. Then for the diameter, I'm going to go to the properties and click on this button in front of diameter, which says associate family parameter. Now here in this list, I'm going to select out nominal dia, then click OK. Now we have the diameter for the outlet. I'm going to select the inlet now, then I'm going to make its diameter compatible with body nominal diameter, then click OK. What's the flow direction for this one? The water is going to come in. So I'm going to go over here and set the flow direction on in. And then for the outlet, I'm going to set it on out. Now this valve right here is not going to be necessarily used only for hot and cold water, and it can be used in different systems as well. So because of that, I'm going to hold the control key and set both these connectors. And then I'm going to go over to the properties window, and for the system classification, I'm not going to give it anything specific, so I'm going to set it on global. This global thing is a general classification which can be used for any system. Now, another thing we can do is we could just change the color of this handle to blue, for example, so that in case it's used for cold water or hot water, it's going to be recognizable by its color. So I'm going to go up here and open Family Types. Then I'm going to create a new parameter. And then I'm going to name this new parameter Handle Color with Discipline Common and Type Material. Also, we're going to be putting it under the group Materials and Finishes. And then here we're going to check Instance. This makes the parameter appear in the Properties window and we would be able to edit it. Now let's click OK, and now we have this handle color. But for now, we're not going to specify any colors, then click OK. And then I'm going to select my handle and click Edit Family so I can edit it in the family space. And then I'm going to go up here to Family Types, then click New Parameter, and then we're going to name this one also Handle Color. This was type also Material, then click OK, and OK here. Then I'm going to select the handle, and then I'm going to make its material compatible with the handle color parameter. Click OK. Remember, we haven't assigned any material for it yet, we've only made the parameters. Now we're going to load it into Project and close. Which project? Valve, then click OK. Now, do we want to save changes to that valve? Yes, we do. And then we get a message saying that this file with this name already exists. Do we want to replace it? Yes. And we're going to overwrite. Now, if we go over to the project browser window, then generic models and double click on valve handle, we can find the new parameter we've created over here in the window that appears. Now we're going to make this parameter, which we've created in the family, compatible with this handle color parameter. And click OK and OK. We still haven't given it any material. We've only made it parametric so far. So I'm going to save it at this point. And then I could load it into the restroom domestic water project. So I'm going to click Load into Project and close. Now I'm going to go up to an elevation, for example, 1000 or 1 meter, and then click here to place the valve. There we go. Now let's go view this in 3D. So I'm going to click Selection Box, and here it is. When I select this valve and go over to the Properties window, I can see this new parameter called Handle Color. So then I can click right here. And then in this window, I'm going to find and select the default material. Then right click on it and duplicate material. And then I'm going to name the new one blue. And then I'm going to go over here to assign the color blue to it. And also in the graphics tab, I'm going to select blue again. Click OK. And then we're going to add another color. We're going to duplicate default again. And then I'm going to name this one red. And I'm going to go over here and assign the red color. And also here, I'm going to select that color again, then click OK and OK. Okay, so our handle now turned red. So I'm going to select and make a copy of it and put that right here beside it. Now let's go check them out in 3D. And then we're going to change the handle color of this other one to the color blue. So I'm going to select the blue material we added earlier. This one right here, then click OK. So now we've made two valves of one with the same parameters, only that we can make the handle color of one of them red and the other blue. How is that possible? It's because when we were making the parameter, we checked instance. Instance indicates that that parameter would appear in the properties window, and it could be different and readjustable for each individual family. Okay, so now let's try something else. I'm going to select this valve, then click Edit Family so I can edit it. And I want to have two different sizes of this parametric valve that I've created. In other words, I want to assign two different types to it. So I'm going to click Family Types. And then here in the window that appears, I'm going to click New Type. Then I'm going to name this in 16 millimeters. And then for out, also 16 millimeters. Now click OK. And there goes the first type. Now I'm going to click New Type again, and I'm going to name it in 20 millimeters and out 16 millimeters. I just made the out the same as the previous one. Now for this type, I'm going to change the body nominal diameter to 20, as its name says. And as for the other type, the body nominal diameter was 16. So now we've defined two types for this family. Now click OK. Now I'm going to save this and replace the existing file. And then I'm going to load it into project and close. And then here in this window, we're going to overwrite. Now, if I select this and go to the properties window, those new types have been added over here. Now for the previous file, I'm going to go over to the project browser window, then open pipe accessories, then valve. We can find this valve, which is the first one we were working with, but we're going to delete it. Now it says there are two instances of this family and they will be deleted too. But before I delete, I'm going to select this and make it of this type. Then select the other one and make it of this other type. Now we don't have anything of this valve anymore, so I can just delete it. Now we have these two valves of two different types, and they are ready to be used in projects and for pipes to be connected to them. We've modeled our piece valve. We're going to be using it over here in the project, and we're going to connect the toilets to it. If you go take a look at the IPC file, you can find your domestic pipe right here, and it's either going up or down. There's really not much of a difference. At elevation 200 millimeters from the FFL, it sticks out of the wall and a piece valve connects to it, and then eventually it connects to the flush tank above by the piece hose. So this is what we're going to model in this video. First, we're going to open our Revit, and if you remember, this is the outlet. I'm going to put a section right here along this pipe to check it out and the situation around it. I'm going to minimize the section, right-click and go to View. Okay, now let's see how much distance it has from the FFL. It's 450, but I'm going to change that to 200, just like what we had in the IPC. Now right-click and draw pipe, then draw a pipe to the left till it sticks out of the wall. Now to put the valve over here, we're going to go over to the Systems tab and then click on the Pipe Accessory command. And before we select the type, we're going to check the diameter of this pipe, which says 20. So once again, I'm going to go over here, Pipe Accessory, and I'm going to use this type. Its inlet is 20 and its outlet is 16. Now, in order to connect it from the correct side, which is the inlet, I'm going to press the space bar to change where my cursor is. It's on the outlet right now. Press space again, and then it goes on the inlet. And now we can go over here and click to connect to this pipe that we've drawn in the wall. Now, I can take this pipe and move it further inside the wall, along the axis of the wall, so that we could also take this valve and move it closer. Then it says that it can't go any further, so we're going to stop here and click Cancel. Now we're going to select the valve, and we're going to try to change its handle color to blue. So select and click OK. There we go, and we did that because this is the cold water pipe. Now let's go check to see where this pipe and valve go. So let's go back here, and we will see that we are modeling these for the lower level, and the toilet right here, we had placed it on the upper level. So let me expand this section, right click and go to view, and here they are. I'm going to select the seat, and then I'm going to copy it to clipboard, and then paste activates right next to it. So then we're going to paste it aligned to selected levels, and which level? FFL level 1, click OK. Now we've pasted it down here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to connect this valve to the flush tank. If I click to select the seat, I will see that the outlet of the tank is behind it. So we conclude that in this family, the water that's going to come in comes from the behind. But if we take a look in the IPC, we will notice that the pipe is coming from under the tank to fill it. So what are we going to do? We're going to select this and then click Edit Family so we can change it a little bit. So you see, I want to change the place of the connector to here. So in order to have a new connector below the tank, first I'm going to have to draw a circle right around here. And then I would have to extrude that circle, and we're going to assign that as the pipe outlet. So I'm going to go to the views, and which elevation do we want to look at it from? We're just going to select back. So double click, and there it is. So I'm going to want to set my work plane by picking a plane, then click OK. And then I'm going to pick this as my plane. Also, we're going to view this from above, reference plane, click OK. Now, either on this side of the tank or this side of it, there's no difference. We're going to use extrusion and draw a circle, click, click. Now, the diameter of the pipe that's going to connect here is 16. So for the radius of the circle, we're going to give it the number 8, enter. Now, how much do we want to extrude it? I'm just going to give it 8 millimeters to give it a little bit of dimension. There we go. Now let's take a look in 3D, and this is what we needed. Let's also view this from the bottom, and I'm just going to move it around a little bit closer to the middle. Okay, so we've just edited our family. Now let's go to the Create tab and use the Pipe Connector command to also put a connector on it. Let's take a look at this connector behind the tank to see which parameter its radius is compatible with. It is cold water radius. So we're going to make the radius of this new connector also compatible with cold water radius. Now what about the flow direction? The water is going to come in, so we're going to select in. And for the system classification, we're going to select domestic cold water. Let's check this one as well. This one also in and domestic cold water. We no longer need this one, so we're going to delete it. And then open the parameters. And then find the cold water radius parameter and change it from 7.5 to 8. Or I could just change the diameter to 16. Now click OK. We're going to load this family into Project and Close. And then it says, do you want to save changes to that family? No, we're not going to need that. We want this change to be made only for this project. Then click Overwrite. And now as you can see, the connector is at the bottom. Now I'm going to select these items all together. Then click Selection Box so I can view them in 3D. And there they are. All right, now we're going to connect these two together by that piece hose I told you about. So I'm going to go up to the Systems tab and click on the Flex Pipe command. We want it to be round, domestic cold water with diameter 16. Then we're going to make a click over here. Then we're going to go over here to the axis of the valve connector, then click again. So this is how we connect them together. We've connected the domestic pipe to our toilet seat. All right, now we're going to be needing the same connection process for the lavatories as well, as in we're going to have to connect our domestic cold water pipe to the lavatory. Let's take a look at the IPC again. Let me go over to this page. Now, as you can see, we have the domestic pipe right here that is coming out of the wall, and let's try to find its elevation. It is at elevation 500. Don't forget that it's also coming out of the wall. So I'm going to take this section right here. I'm going to put it up here and also minimize it a little bit. Right click and go to view. Okay, so what's its distance from the FFL? It is 500. So right click and draw pipe and draw to the right, then press escape. Also, we're going to take it and move it closer to the axis of the wall and its diameter is 16. So I'm going to go to the Systems tab, then click on the Pipe Accessory command, then select the type in16 out 16. Now I'm going to hit the spacebar to change the connection direction. Then I'm going to go over here and click to connect the valve to the pipe. Now we're going to select it, and we're going to change its handle color to blue to indicate that this is the cold water pipe. Also, I'm going to select this valve and move it further to the left and bring it closer to the wall. All right, now I'm going to take this section and move it lower, then right-click and go to View. Let's do the same thing for the hot water. So here, also right-click and draw pipe, draw to the right till it sticks out of the wall, then go to the Systems tab, Pipe Accessory, then take the 16 valve, hit the spacebar to change the connection point. Then I'm going to click right here to connect it to the pipe. Now I'm going to select it and change its handle color to red, indicating that this is the hot water. Also, don't forget that this is completely optional. You can totally choose not to do it. And it's not so important to change the handle color, but we just decided to do it. Now I'm going to use the Align command to align the axis of the wall and the pipe. Then I'm going to select my valve and move it closer to the wall. And there we go. Now, while we're here in this section, let's take a look up there. There's the lavatory. We're going to grab it and copy it. And then we're going to paste it aligned to selected levels. Select level 1, then click OK. In case you end up with something like this, you could just change your schedule level to level 1, then change the elevation from level to 800. Then the lavatory comes down to where it needs to be. So again, here in this lavatory, the connector is at the back, but the valve needs to be connected from below. So I'm going to select this lavatory, then click Edit Family. And then once I'm here in the family space, I could put my connectors at the bottom of the lavatory. So first I'm going to open one of the views. For example, we're going to view this from the front. We're going to go over here to the views, elevation, front. Here we are. Let's also set the display on hidden line so we don't see the extra lines. Now I'm going to go up to the first tab, then click on the Set command, pick a plane, then click OK. Then I'm going to pick this bottom surface as my work plane. Now I'm going to use the Extrusion command to draw a circle. One right here, click, click. And we're going to put the other one right here. Now I'm going to change the radius of these circles to 8 or diameter 16. Same thing for this one as well, radius 8. Now we're going to extrude them by 5 millimeters so that they stick out a little bit. Then click the green check mark. Now let's take a look in 3D, and this is what we have now. Now let's go see what those other connectors are compatible with. They are cold water radius, and the other one is compatible with hot water radius. So I'm going to go up to the Create tab and Pipe Connector and place connectors here and here. And then we're going to make this one compatible with the cold water radius parameter. And click OK. And then for this one, we're going to make it compatible with hot water radius. Click OK. And let's make it system classification domestic hot water. Then its flow direction in. And also this one, system classification domestic cold water and flow direction in. Now we're going to delete those extra connectors which were at the back. Delete, delete. This is our family now. So let's go load it into project and close. Save changes to that family, no. And remember, this not saving thing doesn't affect the loading process. It's going to load it anyway. Then here we're going to click overwrite. And now we can see the new connectors at the bottom of the lavatory. Now I'm going to select all of them together, then go to Selection Looks to view them in 3D. Now let's connect the cold and hot water pipes. Now as you can see on the right we have the hot water and on the left the cold water. So let's go to the Systems tab and use the Flex Pipe command. Then make sure the fitting type is round, domestic cold water, diameter 16. Now let's start from the valve, rotate, and connect to this connector. And then for the next one, we're going to make it domestic hot water. Then we're going to click on the valve and connect it to the connector at the bottom. Now we're going to place the flush tanks for our eastern toilets, and we will also be putting the mixers for each one of them. Before we place the flush tanks, first we're going to take a look at the IPC. Right here, we will see that the elevation of our flush tank is supposed to be 1800 from the FFL, and the outlet valve, which would be placed on the wall, would be connecting through this piece wall hose to the flush tank and at elevation 1800. Also, the diameter of the pipe that's going to connect here is supposed to be 10. And now we're going to be using all that information in our project. There's also another pipe here connecting to the toilet, and the diameter of that one is going to be 32. All right, now in the first step, we're going to download the family for this flush tank so we can put it in the project. So I'm going to go over here to the Vim Object website, and I'm going to look up flush tank. Now, taking a look at the results, we can see that this one could be good. So we could use that type of flush tank, or we can just scroll further down. And it looks like this was also good. So let's go ahead and download it. Now, it looks like this contains 6 Revit files, but checking here, it seems like I have only one RFA file. So I'm going to click Select All, then Deselect. This way, all of them would be deselected. And then I'm going to click on the file that says RFA, which is for Revit, and download it. Now I'm going to go back to Revit. And first, we're going to open the family so we can check it out and see what's going on with it. So I'm going to find it, select and open. And then I'm going to wait for it to finish upgrading from version 2015 to 2023. Now let's go take a look at it in 3D. And as you can see, there's some kind of a cube shape around the family. So if we go here to the Properties window and click on Edit for Visibility Graphics Overwrite, we will see that the detail level is set on coarse. So that's why this cube is here. If you recall, we've said previously that if we go in the Revit space and set the detail level on coarse, like so, the items would appear differently. For example, this elbow appears as a line. We also have the detail level medium, and then another one which would be fine. So basically that means that the detail levels are changeable, and we can choose how much detail we want to see of an item. These settings are done in the Revit space. As in, if we select this item, for example, then edit its visibility graphics, we can see the detail level is on coarse. So I'm going to hide that cube with HH. Now if I select this family itself, then edit its visibility graphics, I will find its detail level set on medium and fine. All right, now currently this item of ours doesn't have any connectors, as in we've only got the body of the flush tank and essentially we can't connect anything to it. So I'm going to go up to the Create tab, and then I'm going to click on the Pipe Connector command. Then I'm going to have a connector of the system type domestic cold water. And then I'm going to put one connector over here for the water inlet. Then I'm going to turn to the bottom of the tank and put another connector there for the water outlet. Now I'm going to select this connector, but then I'll see that its diameter is an inch. So I'm going to hit the shortcut UN to open the units. Then I'm going to click on the format of the length, change its unit to millimeters, and round it to 2 decimal places. Click OK and OK. Now let's take a look here. And now that the diameter is in millimeter, I'm going to change this number to 10 millimeters. So we've adjusted this one. And now for this connector, like we had in the IPC, we're going to put in 32 millimeters. Now this connector at the bottom, we're going to want its flow direction to be out. It was supposed to be the outlet. And the inlet connector up here is going to be in. The flow direction is inwards. Now let's save this. And then we're going to load this family into project and close it. Now, before we place this in the project, we realize that we are in the domestic plan and our family is a plumbing fixture. As in, if I want to use it, I'm going to have to go up to the Systems tab and then go over here to the ribbon and click on Plumbing Fixture. But let's not forget to set the elevation to 1800, just like what we had in the IPC. Now I'm going to click here, but then we get a warning saying that we can't see this item. So I'm going to hit VR to go in View Range. And now you see the cut plane is on 1200. I've placed my item at 1800. But if you recall, we said that plumbing fixtures would be visible only if the cut plane offset is equal to or more than their elevations. So I'm just going to give it 1900, then click OK. And now we can see it. Now I'm going to hit the space bar to rotate it. After we've adjusted our elevation, we're going to have to rotate it to the right side. Now, let me grab this and put it along the sanitary pipe. Also, I'm going to align the edge of this wall with the edge of this item right here. But then we notice that the eastern toilet's fixture has not been placed in the first floor. So let me put a section over here so we can take a look. Then I'm going to minimize my section a little, right click and go to view. Now you can see that our toilet fixture has not been placed in this floor, and that's why we couldn't see it back there in the plan. So let's go place it. We can either do that by using one of the fixtures in the other floors, or the other option would be going to the BIM Object website and looking up Eastern Water Closet. And we're going to browse the results, and this is what we want. We're going to download it, and then over here we're going to deselect all, and then only select this RFA file for Revit, then click download. Now we're going to go back to Revit, insert tab, then I'm going to click on load family, then I'm going to go over to where I've downloaded my file, select it and open it. Then it's going to upgrade the family from version 2015 to 2023. Now to place this family, I'm going to go up to the Systems tab, and then click on Plumbing Fixture, and then at elevation 0 from the FFL, I'm going to click here to place it. Then I'm going to use Align Dimension to measure the distance of this fixture to the wall on its side. I'll have to press the Tab key first to select the wall, then I'm going to click somewhere empty, and also on this side, click here, press Tab, then click on the wall, and then click somewhere blank. Now let's try to adjust the distances. I'm going to click on the fixture and then on this number. The IPC is set to 50 minimum, so we're just going to give it 300. And the minimum distance for this side is 450. So remember, you can use the minimum number or something even more if you have the space. All right, now to connect these two fixtures easier, I'm going to align them first. AL, click on the axis of the toilet, and then on the axis of this flush tank up here. Now they've become aligned. After that, I can just grab this pipe and move it a little bit farther than the flush tank. There we go. Now to view them all together in 3D, we're going to use the shortcut BX and take a look over here. Here's the toilet, the inlet pipe, and the discharger sewage pipe. And then up here is the flush tank and the connectors we have put on it. Now about this toilet, its inlet pipe's radius is 12.7, but in the IPC it said it was supposed to be 32. So we're going to select it and go to Edit Type to see if there are any parameters we can change. So we have flush radius and the IPC set diameter 32, so we're going to make the radius 16. Then we're going to click OK, and now it's been adjusted. Now we're going to go over to connecting them together. So first I'm going to take a look in this section. I'm going to put it a little bit higher, then right click and go to View. I'm going to go over here and click on this connector icon. Then I'm going to check to make sure Valseer Pexel, domestic cold water, and diameter 32. Now I'm going to start drawing downwards. Then I'm going to bend the pipe towards the wall at whichever angle you want. For example, I just got 30 degrees. Now I'm going to go all the way down, then click on the axis of the fixtures connector, and then I'm going to go to the left. But then I get two errors. One of them saying that the angles of these segments are not compatible, too great or too small. So that's just probably because they're not aligned. And the other error is also talking about that same angle thing. So I'm going to cancel this and go back to the plan. And then if I click to select this fixture, I can see that, yes, this connector is not along the same axis of the fixtures. So I'm going to click on its connector icon. And with Valseer Pexel domestic cold water, diameter 32, I'm going to draw a piece of pipe. Now this pipe has been drawn below the 0 of the FFL, so that's the reason why we can't see it over here in the plan. I'm going to hit VR view range. Then I'm going to change the depth offset to -500 or -50 centimeters below the first floor. Click OK. And now we can see the pipe. Let's align AL, the axis of this pipe and the axis of this one. Now that they are aligned, we're going to go back in section, then trim TR to connect these two together. Also, if we take a look up here, I could grab one of these elbows and move them higher and bring them as close as possible to the tank. So there goes connecting the flush tank and this fixture. Next thing we have to do is connecting the sanitary inlet pipe to the flush tank. So I'm going to grab this section and move it up here, right click and go to view. This pipe's end is at elevation 1800, so I'm going to right click on it and draw a pipe sticking out of the wall just like so. We're about to place the piece valve over here. So we're going to go over to the Systems tab and then click on the pipe accessory command. And then here we see that in is 16 millimeters and out is also 16 millimeters. Let's check how the pipe is. Let me press escape. The pipe's in is 20 and out 10. So I'm going to have to define a new type for this family. I'm going to click Edit Type, then Duplicate. Then I'm going to name it in 20. And for its out, we're going to need 10. Let's also delete this extra number 2. Now, body nominal diameter, or in, was supposed to be 20. And for the out nominal diameter, we're going to put 10. Then click OK. Now this is the valve with the right size. If I hit the space bar, the connection point changes. I pressed it once and one more time. Now this is where we want to connect it from. Now I'm going to go over to the edge of the pipe and click to connect them together. I can also select my valve and then go over here to the properties window so we can change the handle color. I'm going to change its material to the color blue because this is going to be the cold water pipe. So select blue, then click OK. Now I'm going to take this valve and move it to the right as far as it goes. It doesn't go any further, so I'm just going to select this pipe and the valve with it. Now I'm going to move both of them to the right as far as they go and bring the valve as close as possible to the wall. I'm going to go back to the plan, and now in order to connect these two together, I'm going to have to go in 3D. If we take a look here, we can see this pipe and valve coming out of the wall. So we're going to have to put a piece pipe over here to connect the valve to the tank. To do that, we're going to go up to the Systems tab and then click on the Flex Pipe command. Now let's go check Flex Pipe Round, Domestic Cold Water, and with diameter 10 millimeters. I'm going to first click on the outlet of the valve and then on the connector that's on the flush tank. So this is how we connect these two together. If we go take a look at this picture, you can see this piece valve and this piece hose, the flush tank itself, then the flush tank's out pipe facing the wall by an elbow, which then heads down to the fixture. So we've modeled all of those details over here, and I could also go over here and set the discipline on coordination. Then we're going to go over here, and now we can see the out pipe as well. Now we're going to place a mixer for these two pipes of this eastern toilet. So in order to have its family, I'm going to go back to Revit, to the Insert tab and click on Load Family. And then I'm going to find that downloaded family, select and open it. Then I'm going to wait for it to upgrade from version 2018 to 2023. And now I'm going to go up to the Systems tab. Then I'm going to click on the Plumbing Fixture command so I can find my mixer right here. Now let's try to adjust the elevation. In the IPC file, it said that the elevation of the mixer was supposed to be 450 from the level. So let's go double check there. As you can see over here, there's the mixer and its elevation from the FFL is 450. So I'm going to go back to Revit and I'm going to change the elevation from level to 450. And since my family is a hosted one, I'm going to place it on vertical face. Now I'm going to go over here and click on the wall to place the mixer. If we go check out the IPC again, here you can see that it says that the distance between the mixer and the toilet should be 700. So let's go over here and see how much the distance between here and here is. which gives us 580. So I'm going to have to take this mixer and move it to the left in order to maintain the standard distance that is set in the IPC. Now, to connect our pipes to the mixer properly, first I'm going to click on the mixer and then I'm going to click on the cold water connector. Then I'm going to draw a pixel 5-layer pipe of the tub domestic cold water. So I'm going to go further to the axis of the wall and click. Then I'm going to elevate it to, for example, 1000, then click apply twice. Again, I'm going to click here on the hot water connector, then draw to the axis of the wall, then elevate it to 1000, then click apply twice. Now to check if we've connected them perfectly, I'm going to create a section right along here. There's the section, and I'm going to minimize it a little bit, then right click and go to view. Now I'm going to use the align command, AL. Now click on the pipe that's coming out of the mixer and on the pipe we drew. We're going to do the same thing for these two. Now to further check the connections and make them even better, I'm going to put a section along this axis. First, we're going to connect the hot water pipe. Let's minimize this. Then right click and go to view. As you can see, they're not aligned yet, so we're going to align them together. And after that, we're going to use the trim command TR to connect this pipe with this one. Okay, so now let's go back to the plan and grab this section and put it over here. Then right click on it and go to view. And once again, I'm going to align these two pipes together. And then I'm going to use trim TR to connect this pipe with this one. So there go the outlets of our mixer. Now let's go take a look in our total plan. But first, just let me delete these sections. Delete and delete. Now that I've moved my domestic pipes around and relocated them, I want to check to make sure I haven't caused any interferences. So for instance, I could just take this sanitary pipe and move it a little to the left. As far as it goes, I can't go any further. Now, the reason why I did that is because I didn't want the sanitary pipe to be directly above that domestic one, so that in case I wanted to put a support for the sanitary pipe, it would be possible and the pipe would be accessible and no interferences would be created. So that's about that. And now let's go check them all in 3D. I'm going to drag to select them all together, then use the shortcut BX. Now if we zoom in here, we can find our mixer, then the toilet, the flush tank, as well as this piece valve and its hose. And up here in the ceiling is the vent for this entire stove.